Welcome into the Recipe Podcast, Celebrity Secrets to a Successful Life. I'm your host, Chef Charles Carroll. What a great day, what a great show we have for you today. Man, this is a very unique and special program that we have coming your way today. And because we have a lot of wonderful people in studio. So this is the Celebrity Podcast, and that means that we share celebrity secrets. And this time we have a fitness crew in town from all around the world. And you all see Jay put on my shirt here. I wore my fitness shirt. There's Eric, the trainer, our buddy in California. He's one of the most famous fitness trainers in the world, and he takes care of a lot of celebrities. So he's a good friend of Torill and I. So shout out to Eric. He's a listener to the show. So we're real excited today. This is a very different show. Phil Phoenix, our podcast editor and sound engineer. He is not in-house because we did this show all very much last second, but he'll be taking care of the show on the back end. And our producer, the Bobbit, she's out doing things with her family in Venus Flytrap. So basically, it's just me and Jay. It's kind of scary, huh, Jay? Are you scared? Are you worried about it? Or no, he's not. Jay's not worried. So if Jay's not worried, I'm not worried. So listen, I want to introduce our guest real quick. And I have the founder of the Center for...
Spatial medicine.
The founder of Spatial Medicine.
Spatial medicine.
And that's Karin Locher. Karin Locher.
Yeah.
And she is in-house, and she is, as I know, as far as I could tell, is one of my wife's favorite people. Is that true, honey?
One of them.
All right.
Yes, I have a lot of, but yes, absolutely.
So we have, and also Joachim. Right? Yeah, we have Joachim, and you're from Switzerland.
I'm from Switzerland,
All right.
from Zurich.
Right, and we have Jasmine.
Hello.
Jasmine, welcome. And I didn't put down where you told me, though.
Switzerland,
okay. All right. And then we have Joyce.
Hello.
Joyce is here from H-Town.
Houston and the Heights.
Yeah, and I know my wife's been to your studio several times.
Several times and hopefully more.
Yeah, and then we have Zach. Zach, you are from Beantown, Boston.
I am, but I've been living and teaching in Houston for the last 7 years.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, super. And then we have the most famous fitness person in the world, my wife, Torill Carroll.
That's Karin is the most.
Yeah. So we are and now I'm on. So you all understand that we have fans from all walks of life, from all over the country and parts of the world, and they listen to this show for all kinds of reasons, for inspiration and celebrity secrets to a successful life. So what better way than to talk about health and fitness and that to help people live a better life, right? So that's exciting. So we're going to get into that, but before, Jay, we're going to talk about our sponsors real quick. We want to thank our sponsors while we're right here. We have Dunkin' Coffee, Escoffier School of Culinary Arts, the American Culinary Federation, Texas Beef Council, and Aceway Incorporated. We thank you so much for trusting us with the show and helping us get this show all around the country and parts of the world. So here we go. Let's have a little fun. So to get started, I know that Torill, you've been working on fitness and Pilates for a lot of time, for a long time. How long now in Pilates? 10, 15?
Pilates probably 10 years, so it's not long compared to other.
Yeah,
People.
10 years. And so
maybe more, 15.
when this whole thing about fascia came up, I mean, it was very intriguing to you.
Yes. My first, I went with the anatomy trains. I met Joy there. That is in 2011, probably.
I think so.
Yeah. It was a 3-day workshop, and it was very intriguing learning, that fascia actually does exist. It's not as ignored as maybe we thought it was. But to me, the lock short, locked long was like, didn't quite get it up until Karin came along. And it was a little easier to understand how we can use this work to change or get our body back to where it used to be.
So before we get all into this, my wife showed me this awesome video that you tell us a little bit more about it. And so I thought we would start the show with that. And so is you okay over there, Jay? Everything's cool on your side? Mm-hmm. I saw the screen go down.
Yeah, I just switched it.
So, Joyce, are you comfortable with starting that video? See, can you move that arrow? Yeah, and push play. There you go. Let's see if this comes. All right, here we go. Let's enjoy this.
Spatial medicine is about recreating and maintaining enough space in the body so the systems can work and regulate efficiently. It works by changing structural relationships and proprioceptions. The changes are made in the fascia, which is everywhere in the body and is responsible for holding the structures together. So if there are any restrictions in the fascia, the structures are limited and information and movement get lost. Fascia is a body-wide fabric that's emerging as far more critical in all bodily functions than previously known. It's setting a whole new paradigm for anatomy and physiology. It's informed by our movement, from different environments, through contact, by touch, through emotions, and even our thinking. It's a reactive tissue that responds to everything we do. So spatial medicine brings you awareness of your fascia and helps you to clear the restrictions so that it can get on with what it does best, which is to support you well. Spatial medicine doesn't fix the body fixes the body, but it facilitates it and looks for what's failing and why. The awareness restores a coherence so that the body can still thrive in the demands of your life. It's a medicine far more appropriate for 21st century symptoms and syndromes. How we are with ourselves directly influences our physiology, and that's our responsibility.
Wow, that's so awesome, huh? Congratulations. That's Emmy Award-winning video stuff there, huh? I mean, really, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. And one of the comments there that sticks so hard to me is that really the body will take care of itself. Most of the abuse to our body happens to what we physically do to it. Is that kind of a summary of? I mean, a lot of issues that people have with their bodies is a lot of self-abuse, whether it's their diet or what they're doing or putting into the body. Would you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I would absolutely say that most things start from what we've done because the body is so responsive to everything. But mostly what we're doing, I mean, it's not a blame game because mostly what we're doing is totally unconscious. So we're not aware of the effect it's having, and I think if we were, we wouldn't be doing it. Not always, but mostly. And the fascia responds not only to what you're doing, but also to the environment that you're living in and to the emotions that you're feeling, to the thoughts that you're thinking. So it's so intricate that that we're very unaware of how much it's affecting the body. But the beautiful thing is because it responds so well, we can very consciously ask it to respond differently for a desired outcome. And that's what makes it so exciting to work with, because we can actually choose to be better by involving ourselves with it and getting it to respond the way we want it to.
So, I mean, that was really powerful right there. Holy shit. So, okay, so I want you guys to jump in wherever, okay? Because this is, I'm the rookie over here. I know nothing about it, and my wife talks about it all the time. So I'm the rookie over here, but I want you guys all to jump in whenever you want to jump in, right? So share more about that. I mean, how long have you been studying this, and you're one of the foremost experts in the world. Am I right with that? Am I to assume that, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say I'm not the foremost expert in fascia itself. I've gleaned all my information from those that have really researched it, and luckily there's a lot of people putting it into scientific research, which is not my field. My field is to take that and put it into everyday practical living experience so that we can glean the benefit of that research and information. Recognizing how much we are involved in the outcome of our health and our life is mind-blowing. And yeah.
So Joyce, you're here in H-Town, and you've hosted these workshops a few times, have you? Or
Quite a few times,
Right.
yes. First at Houston Ballet, and then later in my own studio, Pilates Treehouse.
Pilates Treehouse, and that's in
It's in the Heights.
the Heights. Pretty cool area there,
It's
huh?
a fabulous area. I've been
Yeah.
there since 1991, living there, and I've had my studio there for the past 10 years.
So how long have you been involved in the study, in fascia, and the whole?
Specifically in the idea of fascia, I first met the man whose maps we start our whole process with. I met him in 2003, and it piqued my interest. And then became more involved in, I think, 2011, 2012, when I went to a teacher training for anatomy trains up in Walpole, Maine. And Karin did the same training the year prior, and that's how we met, was assisting in the workshops up in Dallas. And through that, she asked me if I thought anyone would be interested in something coming to Houston, and I obviously said yes. We are both movers, and we both are comfortable in our body more than we are in a book. And that really spoke to me, the way that she was approaching it. And I haven't really looked back. Because as Torill said, locked long, locked short, or these ideas seemed literally like a two-dimensional map, and they're very, very useful. But it wasn't until I started to explore the bridge to CPM where I felt those maps come alive, and I waited for them to move me, which was this huge shift in my personal paradigm.
Wow. So I have so many questions, but Joachim and Jasmine from Switzerland, we're very well represented around the table. So and you're from Dubai.
I'm English, but I'm from Dubai. Yeah, I live in Dubai.
I have very, very dear friends in Dubai.
Oh,
right?
nice.
Yeah. So as well as Switzerland, but so how are you all involved? And you're heading back to someone's flying out in about an hour.
That'll be me.
Yeah. And you're going back to Switzerland.
Yes.
And so how is it you're involved? And tell us how we're all sitting around the table here.
Well, it happened similar like with Joe. I met Karin in 2010 at a workshop from Thomas Myers. And I looked at her and I thought, like, I want what she's having. Looks good. And then I had the sessions with her, and after that we traveled a year to the UK to see her. At that time Joachim was my partner, and our other partner, Sabine, came with us as well. That was for about a year, and then I started hosting her, and we had lots of workshops and further education going on in my studio.
In Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's well known in Switzerland. Lots of people have bridged from their education to Karin's.
Wow. And so you made the trip just for these workshops. Now, there's a team of you that are, I'm going to get it wrong, that are certified. What do you call it, honey? The team of the group that's together?
Faculty.
The
Faculty.
faculty.
Yeah. So are you one of the faculty?
Yes.
All right.
These are all faculty
All
teachers,
faculty.
and I have two more in England, and so we're a group of 6 faculty, which I'm so blessed, because it means that they can really own this work in their own country and studio, and spread it through all the people there, and run the programs there. So it's
Wow.
wonderful. Yeah.
So it just keeps on growing all
Keeps
over the
growing.
world, yeah.
And
And you
I-
even said you might want to
Yeah.
take it to
Cairo.
Cairo,
Starting
yes.
in Cairo now,
It's already
yeah,
started, yeah.
and all over Europe. But this work, once it's experienced, it's like itself. Fascia connects, and fascia informs. And as soon as somebody's felt that level of this work, it starts connecting, and it starts growing, and it starts multiplying.
Yeah.
So Joachim, so tell us about you now. Do you have your own studio as well, or?
I have by now my own studio. I used to work with Jasmine
Uh-huh.
in her studio, and this is when we met Karin and
Okay.
traveled. And for me, it was a little more different to Joyce. I was rather happy in my brain and not that happy in my body. So I had to challenge quite a few things, and that was sort of the biggest push forward for me in realizing that it really opened physically a completely different world to who I was before. And it resolved so many things that I was like, I need to take this work into the world. So that was the reason why I wanted to join faculty. And yeah.
Wow. So, listening to this, it almost sounds like it's not only physical, but it's mental, but it's almost like a meditation almost. Is it? Was that, how do you, so it's mind and body.
It's mind and
Mind and body and core.
I
Yeah.
think one of the strongest tools that we realize is not only are our thoughts influencing our body in health and wellness in that general way, but when we get information from our tissue, we can also send we can be very specific about sending information back to create change. And I think that's something that none of us have ever really conceived before, that it's a two-way communication and we have a choice as to what is being said. And in that choice, your body shifts.
Yeah.
So Zach, how is it you're around this table? Same story as everybody else? Do you have a studio? Oh, no, you're in H-Town now.
Yeah, I live in Houston where I found spatial medicine.
Okay.
Slightly roundaboutly through Joyce.
Okay.
I don't have my own studio. I work out of other people's studios, which I love the freedom of. That works really well for me.
Right.
And just to sort of piggyback on what Joe was saying about the connection of mind and body, we find, especially through this work, that there's absolutely no practical distinction between mind and body. They're intrinsically linked. There's no way we can take a mind out of a body or have a body existing without mind. So what we find in this work is really that two-way street of how one affects the other, and that goes both ways. So when we start to think about our bodies differently, that starts to change our physicality, which in somewhat unexpected but also really surprising and wonderful ways starts to change the way we think about everything else in our lives.
Okay, so we have mind and body, but also diet, right? I assume that comes in. Diet has everything to do with everything, right?
Yeah, it does. Diet, of course, I mean, it's something that the body's also going to respond to, but it's a very individualized thing, and it's nothing that we go into particularly. It's something that the more in touch you get with your body and how it feels and where it's blocked and what's working for it and how it is, you start to work that out for yourself. So it's, yeah, I think that's something that's...
I remember one time you mentioned, Karin, that you have gluten intolerance or you're allergic to certain foods and you go on vacation and all of a sudden you can kind of eat everything because your mind is relaxed, your body, you don't think about all this stuff you shouldn't eat, and then you go back home and all of a sudden you are allergic and gluten intolerant again.
So food becomes an irritant to something that's already existing, which is caused most usually from an energetic stress that's upsetting the system, and therefore food becomes an irritant to it.
Yeah.
So certain foods, when you eliminate it, make you feel a little better because they're not irritating the problem, but they're not the cause of the problem. The cause is the underlying stress, which is coming from a state of nervous system which is stuck in an anxious state or a stress state.
So it seems to me the answer would be to be on vacation all the time, no? I mean, would that be right? Wouldn't that be good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Torill, now tell us about what this has meant to you. I mean, you've been doing these. I know you're so wrapped up into this now, and you've been to a couple of these seminars. So tell us what that means to you now, and what you're learning. And
Well, you can never finish learning, and this fascia work is just expanding and get deeper. And every time there's another workshop like this biomedical biomechanics and dynamics of walking and running, it was just amazing how you should learn how to do this efficiently. And of course, the whole fascia work, I feel like if you get into the lines and all that, it's effortless. You don't have to pull your muscles to do this, and this is what we used to do. I mean, everything squeeze this, and as you say, if you squeeze it, it's not available. So just learning and seeing, and everything is like a puzzle, slowly coming back to pieces. I had a private with Jasmine, and she pulled, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be unglued. And I walked out, and I went to the grocery store, and I felt like a rag doll. And I was smiling to everybody I saw. I was like, what is wrong with me? It was such a release, and I'm thinking, this is what it is. This is what everybody needs to explore and feel. It's amazing.
It makes you smile
It
more.
makes
and
you smile.
You all need to
Hopefully
smile more.
Hopefully I don't meet.
Isn't that funny to be surprised that you're smiling?
I was like, people smiled back. I'm like, am I still smiling? It was like, and then I tell my clients this and said, oh, I want fascia release. I want to do the fascia stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I am doing that, but I don't tell you that, no, we're going to, But
Well, let's talk about that now. So, so I'm going to the gym 2-3 times a week, and I'm exercising, and I'm in a high stress environment, and I'm not feeling well. My neck is bothering me. My knee is bothering me. I come to you, and you say, "Go on vacation."
No,
So we've
got to get real.
Yeah. So tell us, our listeners, because you are all experts around the world. So my listeners are saying this all sounds great. What does it mean for me? So how can I get started? Or just take my example for a second. I'm high stress. My knee is bothering me. My neck is bothering me. I work out a lot to try to relieve that stress. Where would you start with me?
The first thing is I would have you recognize that your internal state of stress is how much that's affecting your body, to make it really important for you to recognize that so that you can actually change something yourself. Mm-hmm. So I would find ways of making you recognize that by giving you a feeling, by de-stressing your nervous system so that you feel the difference, because we don't know the difference. And we've got to know and have tools to come out of that state. So I would offer you some tools to get yourself out of that state. So you then have a choice, and you recognize this state isn't worth my pain, my health, my inefficiency. Because there's no point going into the gym in a high stress state and just, And what happens is the body gets blocked up in that state, so the load distribution and the organization gets minimized and gets compromised.
So when I'm coming to your studio, and does the first part of our session start with a one-on-one discussing and the lecture part of it, or do we go right to a...
We go right into experience, really. And while you're having the experience, there's an educational side, an information side, so that you can glean information about yourself and recognize and be aware of certain habit patterns that are unconsciously working against you. Because for the, as much as you're trying to do something, there's other things that are working against you. So, but the experience is everything. Knowledge is nothing without an experience. So you have to feel something different to know there's something different. Without that feeling, it means nothing. So we always look to give somebody a feeling and to try to create more space in the body so that nothing is crowded and the joints aren't crowded and load isn't built up in singular places.
Okay, so you're creating more space in the body. What is that?
That's the concept of spatial medicine, reorganizing space in the body so that there's room for this. Fascia is a distributor, fascia is a communicator. Fascia travels around the body, it moves around the body, sending load and information, but it needs space to do that. So it needs to be able to get past one part of the body to the other. So when we hold on to contractions, we're blocking them from happening.
Okay, so so part of that experience, I would be laying down, and you're talking to me as you're talking to...
Well, there are different ways of doing it. You might be going straight into some sort of movement, but I would be bringing your awareness into how you're doing that movement and asking you to do it in different ways so that you can experience it differently. There may be a situation where you're so highly stressed that the first thing I have to do is what we call a systemic approach, where I need to just work with my hands as an influence to the fascia to bring your system down. So that you get a chance to notice something different. Because when the system's so high, you can't feel anything.
Gosh, that sounds amazing. How much, before I heard Torill, you talk about it, I mean, haven't really heard anybody talk about it. I know that when we have some tensions or something's bothering me, that we've always thought there was a knot, in that the tendons are in a knot, we'd try to roll it out or something like that. But other than you talking about it, is there more of this going on in Houston, or is there more experts in
We probably, in the state of Texas, because we have, I think, 3 in Dallas, we have 14 or 15 post-grads.
Now
We
qualified.
have 4 that have just begun their stage 2, or actually in the middle of their stage 2 of the Pilates teacher training, that is a neuromyofascial teacher training. So we're talking about all of the current aspects of that the researchers are bringing to light regarding our tissue. And we have the attendees of the workshop. So we really do have a strong base coming in here in this area. So it's not just exclusive to Zach and myself. There's a good group.
So if Houstonians or people in Houston, I mean, am I wrong to assume that this is relatively new breakthrough or new concept? Because I haven't heard a lot about it other than my wife and.
It's new.
Yeah,
it's very new. Yeah, I mean, fascia's been around forever. We're recognizing it now, and we're recognizing more and more and more. And I still think we're only at the beginning of that recognition of just what we can do with it, this information.
Why aren't we doing a week-long course at the club on this?
Karin has been to River
Have you
Oaks
been there?
Country
Yeah,
Club,
yeah.
yes.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used it. We did a couple of workshops there a few years ago.
Yeah.
And some of the members attended. Yeah.
Wow, we ought to be fixing
Yeah.
that real quick, huh? I mean, seriously.
I mean, because if you consider that every single part of you is fascia, except perhaps the cell nucleus, and that's still to be debated, it's pretty important that we know about it. And that it's so readily available to us in its extraordinary character of response. How we can get involved in our body is just something we have no idea about. I mean, it's phenomenal.
So Joachim, you I saw right on the cover of here, I believe isn't this one of your specialities of the walking and running? Is that correct?
Well, yes, I sort of concepted that workshop. I concepted that workshop and ran it once in Zurich, in Pilatesome, this studio from Jasmine. And then when it came up to the faculty meeting here, we were like, okay, if we're coming over anyway, why don't we bring our experience of the work here and help out teaching the teacher trainees and do a workshop or some privates with the people here to get our take on our work. And I had that workshop and we were discussing, and it seemed like a good idea to bring that in because, I mean, all of us are walking at some point and a lot of us want to run, and the whole of the fascial perspective enables us to recognize how easy that could be, how easy, efficient and free. So most of the times when I'm sitting along the river in Zurich at lunchtime and see people passing by with like 90% of the runners, I'm thinking, why are they doing that? Are they having fun? And
How much pain?
if they don't have fun, why are they doing that again?
Yeah.
And so I came up with, this could be really effortless, easy. I mean, we're meant to run and walk for hours and hours and hours on end without hurting. And so I tried to get this concept of how we work with fascia and how we get more efficient and how we get elasticity into our bodies and rebound and the energy out of the ground rather into the ground, and try to concept that in first a generic day in what are the elements we need to efficiently run and walk. And then to teach the Pilates people, you have that all in your studio. So do you recognize that all these exercises actually are clarifying running and walking? So you have already all what you need to teach your client to become more efficient. So this is what the workshop was about.
So it helps. First of all, your comment about the people, walking, you're watching these people, it's like, oh my God, does that drive you guys crazy? I mean, because I know when I'm in the gym, and I'm not any expert fitness person, but I often sometimes see people like really hurting themselves. And all I can do just to say, and I'm a chef, so I don't know anything about, but I know that's wrong. You know what I mean? And so does it drive you crazy when you're not punched in on the clock and you see these things happening? And did you just want to grab people and say, don't stop doing that? Or
Not so much crazy, but you just feel a little sad in that it doesn't have to be that hard. You can get the same results without it being so hard. And you just want them to have the information to be more efficient, for sure.
I sometimes feel it quite sad that you see their work when they're still out about running. So you see that they sort of come off the desk and it's written into them that they're working on the computer, even when they're running, even when they're cycling.
Yeah.
So that our body adapts so strongly to the one thing that we do the most in the world or in our day, that we have no chance of getting out of it anymore. So it's really helping people getting out of this strong patterns written into them that are a little more unfortunate than they could be.
Wow, that's
I'll say that actually a lot of the work that we do is not building techniques or something. It's an undoing. It's an undoing of all the things that we've developed that are in our way of the body's efficient movement, which was very efficient when we first started out. You know, the child knows how to run freely and climb and scamper about and jump and whatever. You know, so we just build up a lot of bad habit patterns, and then so we're undoing everything to take the body back to its greatest efficiency and let it be the brilliant thing that it is.
now. Do you have a studio in Dubai?
No, I don't have a studio in Dubai. I have a training center. So yeah, the Center for Spatial Medicine is in Dubai. It's not a Pilates studio at all because the work goes into all modalities, and it's I started it in the Pilates modality, but I take it to meet everybody and anybody because fascia is everywhere. Pilates is a great tool that you can use for it. But yeah, we have a means for training there. So we do a lot of hangings and other work.
So, are there fascia studios, like exclusive fascia studios?
No.
I'm trying to get to my head wrapped
No.
around because I know you're using the
No.
Pilates. Okay, so would that be so? If someone wants to work on their fascia and is that a doctor's office thing? Is it a
No.
living room? Is it what is it? Tell me, Joyce.
So you say, is it a doctor's thing? And honestly, only until recently in surgical rooms did they finally decide that they shouldn't take the fascia that they took off and put it in the trash can. Okay, so that's recent. What the first fascial congress was like 2004, I believe. And you as a chef see fascia every day.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right?
we don't want
you
that.
You really have a great sense of what it is that we're working with. Yeah? And it is the shape and the structure. But we've always been working fascia. If we're working our body, we're affecting the fascia. The thing is that we're saying there is a way to do it by getting out of its way. And totally just get out of its way. It will automatically regulate exactly what you need.
So any damage or trauma to fascia can be reversed.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
even surgery, people have,
So all we really need to do is start to become conscious about it. Be aware
Yeah.
that it's there. Know that it's there. Like you train a muscle, now you're aware that there's something else going on there. You train your fascia, and then you train them to to organize well.
What about
together.
collapsed vertebrae? So you can create
Absolutely.
space.
Absolutely.
So I might not have needed my hip replacement
No.
because I was bone on bone. No.
You needed space.
Yeah, I needed
Yeah,
space.
it's the fascia that's going to determine the space in your body. It's going to either
Yeah.
pull the bones together or hold them apart. Now, you needed them to be held apart so
Yeah.
that they weren't grinding on each other.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to move the bones when you understand fascia. Really, that's the really extraordinary and beautiful message that we have to take on.
Okay. All right, I'm still trying to get to the bottom of
But
this.
going back to your thing about a fascial studio, a
Yes,
fascial
this
space.
is what I wanna keep talking about.
What we need to have is actually fascially organized places of training.
Okay, what does that look like? That's what I'm trying to get to. So is it a studio with mats? Is it
You
tell
know
me.
something, you can do any training, and I work with a lot of the triathletes and the marathon runners and the people. You can do any training from a fascial perspective. You don't need certain things to make it fascial. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So, you can go and train golf, but be
Yeah.
conscious of what's happening to your fascia and how to organize that. You can work it in a gym
So-
fascially.
So we're getting close. So Jasmine, you have a studio
Yeah.
in Switzerland, and describe to me that studio.
It's a Pilates studio.
It's Pilates.
It's a
Okay.
Pilates.
So this is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So you're taking these practices and working them into what you do as a professional, and that happens to be Pilates. So which is what my wife is starting to do, and she's not telling her clients. So, honey, you need to start charging for that, by the way, extra. So you're using these practices in your profession, right? Do you have any? Is that true?
I mean, I did Pilates and I still do Pilates.
Yeah.
But this is what Joyce said several other times now. The way we do it
Yeah.
and the awareness, how we address the body,
Okay.
is different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like another language.
Yeah. So
It's not squeezing us, it's once together is opening and widening.
you guys say something, Zach? Go ahead.
It's a little bit hard to wrap your mind around because it's not specifically about what you do. It's much more about how you do it. I teach yoga. I also teach Pilates. I've been a personal trainer. It's not about don't run at all. It's about how you think about how your body moves through running. It's not about don't lift weights. You can lift weights and get as strong as you want. You can do kettlebells. You can do CrossFit. But it depends on how you're thinking about how your body's structured, connected, and how you're going to approach those specific movements.
Okay, good point. So in your dream for the world,
Yeah.
the best case scenario, it's not necessarily having fascia studios as opposed to everybody being educated on how the fascia works and you apply that to whatever it is you're doing.
I mean, really, the anatomy books have to change, education has to change from the beginning. People have to start to be taught differently about anatomy, biology, physio. Everything has to now include, and it will change, but change takes time, you know. So that's the first thing, yeah. It has to change from education up. To meet the people that have missed that chance and are now meeting it, yeah. I mean, my eldest son, he runs a fascial strength studio. So he has weights, he does free movement, weight training, hanging. We have Iyengar ropes. So we have a multi-choice of different disciplines, but done from a fascial perspective. He also has a table in the room for fascial release. So if somebody's in a lot of injury or bad state, they can just lie out and he will organize them fascially before they train so that they're in a better chance of getting a better training. So it doesn't have to be a yoga class, a Pilates studio, or a fascia. So a fascial studio would be a little bit of everything because life is a little bit of everything. Yeah. So that the body needs to be able to organize itself in a multitude of different ways to really help you embody it deeper so that you know yourself deeper, you know your patterns, you know your subconscious patterns, so that you know how you're affecting it.
So tell me, when was your aha moment that how long have you been working with fascia now?
Since 2005.
2005. So what was your aha moment like, oh my God, I got to get on this?
My aha moment was when somebody gave me Thomas Meyer's book. I'd already been teaching and had a Pilates school already for quite a long time, and one of my students actually told me to read this Anatomy Trains book.
All right, let's get it.
And suddenly everything Tom was saying illuminated and made complete sense of what Mr. Joseph Pilates had been telling the world 50 years ago, but nobody had really listened or taken it as deeply because there was no terminology in this. It was this explained his work, and I married the two, and it was just this whole new vision.
So I want to ask y'all, think of a story that when you saw this practice was not necessarily an aha moment, but wow, I can see the difference in that particular person after the work. You know what I'm trying to say? They used to be like this and now I like this. Right? Some success stories and
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day, every session, from the beginning of the session to the end of the session. When I see these guys and I always remind myself how I first met them, I mean, they're different people. They haven't just changed their bodies, they're different people. And their lives are different lives.
All right, so our listeners out there, if they're like me, they're sitting on the edge of the seat, it's like, where can I go buy some of this stuff? So help our listeners get there? How do we? I'm going to ask you all. We're going to put all your websites and all your information. We're going to put all in the show notes, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But I want you to tell, where can people get started? So Joyce, you tell us. You're here in H-Town, so tell us.
And so is Zach.
And Zach, but so how can people that are listening, like, because not everybody is educated on this. We have to find people in certain cities that are out there listening. Have to find people that are educated on it. How can they get started?
To find me, you would go to pilatestreehouse.com or find me on Facebook as Pilates Treehouse Fascial Playground. I'm up in the Heights, just south of 11th, between Heights and Yale. Super easy to find, right on the Esplanade or the bike trail from Heights Boulevard. So very simple, and it's by appointment. There are classes available. There are classes in other modalities as well, but again, it doesn't matter what we are doing. It matters how we approach it.
So you're using these practices no matter what people come into your studio for. You're using the practices anyway.
I'm always working on a body, so it doesn't matter what I do with them, what type of practice, whether I wouldn't teach yoga, but anyone that has any kind of training, be it personal training to teach, to work with, Pilates teaching, Rossiter, which I do as a practitioner, and Yamana that I do as a practitioner, they all are tools for the lens within which I look at the body, which is the fascial lens.
Okay. Zach, what about you? Where can people find
The
you?
best way to find me is on Instagram at The Human Movement School. And I work with a variety of people. Backtracking to Instagram for a moment, my words on Instagram are really the most important thing to me. Pictures are interesting, they catch your attention, but the words can really refine how we think. And then when I'm working with people, I almost hesitate to say this, but I don't really care about the yoga and the Pilates. They're not important to me. It's the person in front of me and what they want. And if you come in pain and you just want to be able to walk out of pain, I am so invested in that. If you want to learn to do a handstand, I'm going to help you get there too. I have a couple people who didn't want to tell me this at the beginning, but I think it's great. They just come see me so they can hit the golf ball farther. If that's important to you, that's important to me too. So again, it's not about specifically what you're doing, but I really want to use my skill set and my knowledge to enhance your awareness of your body and how everything you do affects that, so you can do whatever's important to you better.
Super. So let's just get off the tail. Am I the only one that thinks he looks like the actor, Matt Damon's sidekick? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
I've been hearing that for 10 years. I first grew facial hair to look less like him, but it doesn't work.
No, what's the name I'm looking for?
Batman.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I'll just get up. So also, Karin, what about you? Where can people find you? We had your beautiful website there.
Yeah, what I'll say is actually, if on the website you can go to find a teacher, a practitioner, and you'll get the list of Houston people who are here in town, who have been through the program and who can help you if they're in a different part of the town, if these guys aren't available or they're not in the right part of town.
Awesome.
For me, I'm in Dubai, and I also, a lot of people travel out and do what is a 3 to 4 day intensive with me. And we just work one-to-one for 3 days, sometimes 4 days if they're traveling, and you get a really deep transformation over that time. So people travel out to me for that.
That's going to be my Christmas gift, okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
And that's the way I really love to work, because you
put a
can
bow
break
on that
down
one.
patterns that way. You know.
Yeah. So do you meditate as well, by chance? Do you in meditation at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Joachim, how about you? Where can people find you?
Well, my homepage would be
Sit up to the. There you
my
go.
homepage would be www.real-e.ch. I think all the other contact details are on there. I'm in Zurich. Have my own little studio there, and I work with people from all sorts of backgrounds. I have one very ambitious client. She just returned to jump higher and swim faster from the wakeboard and then swimming, and we got there again. And I just got a client who has like a break in her sacrum, and that's was really quite an interesting challenge, but he actually could stand on the one leg that he always would be bending within a session. So that was quite...
That's amazing.
So it's really sort of from one range to the other. I work with all sorts of people in rehabilitation or in sports performance. And yeah.
Awesome. And Jasmine.
My studio is Pilates Zone, pilateszone.ch, but I think easiest is really to go on Spatial Medicine webpage and see where you want to be, in which country, which town, and then choose a teacher.
And honey, people can find you at River Oaks Country Club, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have to go there and find you there. Well, any last minute, I know we're up against it, any last minute messages, any wrap ups, any last minute message while we're all here?
Yeah, well, I will tell you later what I did to your wife.
Yeah, I need to know. Yeah. Please give me that recipe. Yeah, this is recipes to a successful life. So please, I need that.
Happy life too, yeah.
Yeah, I need that recipe for sure. So, well, listen, I really appreciate y'all coming in. I know this was a last minute thing, and I hope that this podcast, and my wife's going to be doing a podcast soon, so we're going to be working on that.
That's your words.
And,
I don't know. I need
so
some.
we're gonna. I hope that this helps your world, and that's what we want to do is help people live a better life. And I think this has been a really cool session. And
It's been wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you.
For having us.
I appreciate you coming in. So that about wraps up another episode of the Recipe Podcast, Celebrity Secrets to a Successful Life. I'm your host, Chef Charles Carroll. We want to thank again our sponsors, Dunkin' Coffee, Escoffier School of Culinary Arts, the American Culinary Federation, Texas Beef Council, and Ace Way Incorporated. Jay, brother, I appreciate you coming in last minute and giving up your football Sunday to be with us and helping us push the buttons. And again, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. We really enjoyed it. So everyone out there, remember, you're special, you're great. Make an impact on someone's life today. See you next time. Today's show brought to you by Dunkin' Coffee. Mills Dunkin' is a great guy who will fix, grind, and make the perfect custom blend of coffee for you. He has a full service of coffee and teas for hotels, clubs, and restaurants. Customer service is also their best attribute. Just ask me, because that's why we love them. Go out to their website, dunkincoffee.com, and try a blend today. That's DUNCAN, dunkincoffee.com. Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Are you interested in fulfilling a career in culinary arts or pastry arts? Then you need an educational partner that can help you reach the next level. Escoffier School of Culinary Arts can help you excel in the kitchen and beyond with a balanced curriculum that focuses on the latest culinary skills and methods as well as business and operations. They also offer a flexible 100% online format perfect for working professionals, world-renowned reputation, personalized student support, professional chef instructors, lifetime career assistance, and federal grants and financial aid available for those who qualify. Contact the folks at Escoffier to learn more at escoffier.edu. That's ESCOFFIER.edu. American Culinary Federation. I've been a member of the American Culinary Federation for 35 years. My dad was a chef, and he got me in the American Culinary Federation, the ACF, when I was 18 years old. I've been blessed to travel the world representing the United States of America in the World Culinary Olympics. If you're not a member of the ACF, make sure you join today. They have so many benefits and education, online services, great magazines, great websites, and several conventions throughout the year. Make sure you become a member today at the American Culinary Federation. That's acfchefs.org. The Texas Beef Council is a nonprofit organization representing 130,000 beef farmers and ranchers across the state. Their goal is to increase beef demand through research, education, and promotion, utilizing the beef-loving Texans consumer brand, connecting consumers to the beef they love and the farmers and ranchers who raise it. The Texas Beef Council supports chefs and food service professionals across the state of Texas, whether it's taking chefs on a pasture-to-plate tour across Texas or supporting the future of food service industry through the Texas ProStart High School Culinary Program. The Texas Beef Council plays a pivotal role in the Texas food service community. Aceway Incorporated is a janitorial maintenance company in the Houston area. The owner, Ricardo Acevedo, is such a great guy. Ricardo and his team will come in and help you clean out your kitchens, front and back of the house, office buildings, you name it, they'll clean it with amazing attention to details. Aceway takes great care of your facility, and they also have exceptional customer service, and you all know how much that's important to me. So go to, actually, you can dial up their number, 281-879-9899, and you will get Ricardo firsthand. So thank you so much for watching today's show. See you next time.